Assalamu alaikum warahmatullah. Very good morning to all of you. Hope you're doing fine. Today we are going to study the part 3 of this lesson, Forces That Shape Earth, the chapter number 5, lesson number 4 from your reading book, MACMILLAN and MCGRAW-HILL. The pages for this topic are from 290 to 292. So please open the book, the reading science book, page number 290. We'll start with the part 3 today. We finished two parts. We finished the part 1, weathering, part 2, the erosion and deposition. The part 3 is soil. So here we go with this topic, soil. In this topic, we are going to cover what is soil and soil layers. The layers of the soil, we also call them the soil horizons, topsoil, subsoil, parent rock, bedrock. And what is the importance of soil, and what are the different properties of soil, and wasteful practices that deplete the soil of their nutrients. Then what is soil? Soil is a mixture of weathered rock, air, water, and humus. And the humus is a material made of decayed plant and animal remains. Soil is also called the skin of the planet. So we all know how the soil begins actually. The soil, it starts from a rock. A rock is weathered into smaller pieces, and ultimately we see very small particles of these weathered rock, and when it combines with air, water, and humus, this collectively is called as soil. This soil exists in the forms of layers, which we read as soil profile. There are different layers of soil, like the topsoil. This topsoil is the upper layer of the soil, where we see the humus mixed up with the air, water, and the minerals. This soil is very rich for the growth of plants. So this is an ideal layer for the growth of the plants. And this is the layer which we see the plants and organisms living, and the seeds germinate. So this is an ideal layer for the growth of plants. And here we find the plants and organisms living, and also the seeds germinate in this topsoil. The next layer beneath the topsoil is subsoil. This layer beneath the topsoil, it is also rich in minerals, but the minerals here are also accumulated from the topsoil. When the runoff water or the rainwater, it percolates down under the surface, then we see this water, it carries the minerals to the next layer. It carries the minerals, it carries the humus also. So the subsoil, it also contains some part of humus. So this layer is rich with minerals and some humus. The next layer is parent rock. This is partly weathered rock from which the soil is formed. Under this parent rock, we see a very solid rock. This is a bedrock. See the soil horizons in this picture. The topsoil, where we find organic material, that is humus and all these minerals also there. And the next layer is subsoil, and the third layer is of weathered rock, the parent rock, and the last layer is bedrock, the solid rock. We see that soil properties. The different soils have different properties. So the most significant soil particles are texture of the soil, structure, color, and chemistry. Now we see what is texture. Texture refers to the size of the soil particles. Texture, it refers to the size of the soil particles. The structure, this is actually the way soil particles aggregate together. The soil structure is the way soil particles aggregate together. The color of the soil is produced by the minerals and the organic matter present in it. Different soils have different colors because of the different minerals and different organic matter in it. And the chemistry, it refers to the pH value of the soil. The soil can be acidic, it can be basic, or it can be neutral. So we see how the clay soil, it has very fine particles. So it's very soft, smooth, and the fine particles, they have a lot of porosity, thereby it results in the very good vegetation. It also helps the crops to thrive. So this clay, you see how soft it is with the fine particles. The sandy soil, we see how the sandy soil appears. The particles of the sandy soils are coarse. They are not so fine like the clay. They are coarse particles, the rough particles. Another type of soil is silt. Here the soil particles, the particles here are smaller than the sandy soil. The sand particles are a bit larger than the silt particles. So silt is little less coarse than the soil, than the sandy soil. Here we see different colors of different soils here. The sand, it looks a little white, and the silt, it is brown, and the clay, it looks black. Next we learn about the permeability. We have the empty spaces between the soil particles. There are spaces. We call these spaces as pores. If these pores in a soil are connected to each other, then the water can pass easily through it. So this type of soil is called permeable soil. In permeable soil, the pores are connected so that the water can pass easily through it. So such a type of soil is called permeable soil. Permeable soil, it enables crops to thrive well. The other type of soil we see here is impermeable soil. In this impermeable soil, the pores are not connected, or if there are very few pores, or if there are no pores existing in this soil, we call it as a impermeable soil. It produces less vegetation compared to the permeable soil. The impermeable soil produces less vegetation. We see here how the impermeable soil, it does not allow water to enter down deeper into it, and the permeable soil, it allows the water to go down through its pore spaces. What is the importance of soil? Why soil is important? It is very important because all the minerals that are required by the organisms to survive, they are contained in the soil. So directly or indirectly, every organism, it depends on these minerals to survive. So these minerals can be replaced naturally by rain and runoff. Maybe it's the rainwater, it's falling in some other area, but it is carried forward. That rainwater is flowing over a area, and it is moving to a different location. So this is runoff water. So the soil minerals can be used up by the plants growing in that area, but again the new set of minerals, they are being brought by the rainwater or runoff water, or also by decaying of plants and animals. The soil, it is getting the minerals again. So the sources of repletion of the minerals is the rain, runoff water, and decaying of plants and animals. So there are some practices which deplete the soil of its important nutrients. So when, suppose if too many plants are grown in an area, and they are overcrowded, overpopulation of the plants, then the nutrients from that soil are used up quickly. So this is a wasteful practice. It's not encouraged. This will make the soil less useful. And also another practice is growing same kind of plants year after year. Every year the same crop is being raised there, then that is using up the nutrients from there. The depletion of the soil nutrients takes place. So that's not advised by the specialists. So the next type of practice that is also wasteful practice, that is deforestation. Deforestation makes the soil unusable. Deforestation makes the soil unusable. And the next practice is dumping of waste in the soil. This dumping of waste in the soil, it changes the soil composition. It changes the soil composition, thereby the growth of the different plants, it is affected. The building dams also is a wasteful practice. This building of dams can damage the soil downstream. The building of dams is also a wasteful practice. So the wasteful practices are growing too many plants in an area, or growing same kind of plants year after year, and deforestation, and dumping of waste in the soil, and building dams. These are the wasteful practices. So this ends our topic. This ends the lesson, forces that shape the earth. And let us see what we have learned in this topic. We have learned what is soil, how is soil formed, and we have learned about the different layers of the soil, which we call soil horizons, the topsoil, subsoil, parent rock, bedrock, and also the importance of soil, properties of soil, and the waste practices that deplete the soil nutrients.